Brock Page here, random sports picks for fun. Let's get into them. We'll start with Carolina at the Atlanta Falcons, 4:25 Eastern start in the ATL. Atlanta open 3, now 4.5. Total open 47, now 45. Currently, Atlanta's the 2-1 favorite to win this one outright. And at the moment, 56% of the betting public is leaning toward the Panthers to get the job done. Here's why. Carolina against the spread, 9-6 overall, 2-1 in their last 3. The Panthers have been good on the road, 5-2 against the spread when traveling. Carolina has also been real good when catching points, 5-1 against the spread as the official Vegas underdog. They're going up against an Atlanta team who's failed to cover in 3 of their last 4. They've gone 6-9 against the spread overall for the year as well. Now, on the total, we've seen a lot of movement downward, and that can certainly be explained also. Atlanta games went 4-0 to the under in their last 4, 6-2 to the under in their last 8. Having said all that, this Carolina team has gone 3-1 to the overs in their last 4 themselves. They also averaged 28 points per game in those overs as well. All that in mind, we could either have a defensive gridlock or an explosion of offense. Either way, I'm not so sure where this one's going to go on the scoring, so I'm going to take a pass on the total. And when it comes to selecting a winner, it's tough to get a good gauge on motivation through the trends. So although Carolina's gone 3-1 in their games as the official road underdog, I can't guarantee we'll be getting their best effort in terms of game plan and scheme. All that said, I'm going to forego a play on everything and take a free pass on this game. Next matchup, Buffalo at Miami, 4:25 East, Hard Rock Stadium. Buffalo open 3, now 3.5. Total open 43, now 42 and a hook. Currently, the Bills are $1.37 to get the job done on the scoreboard. And at the moment, 64% of the public's leaning toward the Bills to take care of business in South Florida. But despite Buffalo being the clear-cut favorite to get it done in this one, this game might be tougher than you think. Miami's 5-1 against the spread at the Hard Rock, 3-1 ATS in their games as the official home underdog. Meanwhile, on the other side, Bills haven't fared all that well on the road, 3-4 against the spread in their 7 games when traveling, 0-1 in their lone game as the official road favorite. Buffalo's also just 2-2 against the spread in their last 4, 3-5 against the spread in their last 8. And most concerning for Buffalo backers in this one, the Bills have failed to cover the spread in 4 of their last 5 matchups on the road this year. Things not looking like a stone-cold lock for Bills bettors, no matter how bad the Fins have been this year. Now, scoring-wise, probably shouldn't expect a lot of it in this one. Both teams are just 1-3 to the over in their last 4. Miami's averaged just 14 points per game in their last 2. Buffalo averaging just 13 points per contest in their previous 3 unders themselves. My only concern with the total is the fact that Buffalo put up 24 against Miami just a couple of weeks ago up in New York. Meanwhile, the Fins managed to put up 27 and 35 points on the Patriots and Broncos, respectively, only a few short weeks ago. So with all that in mind, I'm going to forego a play on the total. I am, though, leaning toward a play on the spread in this one. I'm leaning toward a sharp play on the unpopular choice. So although the Bills are a much better team and have a lot more to play for, I think this Miami squad will still muster up enough effort to keep this one close. That said, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it up, and take the Miami Dolphins +4, getting the job done against the number. Next game, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, 4:25 Raymond James. The Saints open 9, now 7. Total open 50, bet up to 51. Currently, the Saints are nearly 3-1 to win it outright. And at the moment, just 45% of the betting public is backing the Bucs. So tough one to pick the right side in this one. I mean, Tampa's been terrible against the number all year round. But recently, they're 2-0 against the number in their last couple of games, and both of those opponents were NFC South rivals. Tampa's also done a real nice job covering against good teams, going 3-2 against the spread versus teams allowing less than 21 points a game. So, if you're amongst the unpopular leaning toward the Bucs, your gamble might pay off. Now, when it comes to the total, I thought this one opened up excessively high at 50 points, and I'm pleased to find that this one keeps getting bet upward. We've got upward movement of the line in this one, and I couldn't be happier about it. Tampa games, 3-0 to the under in their last 3. Not one of those games got over 45 total combined points. Meanwhile, on the other side, New Orleans, 2 out of their last 3 under the line themselves, held their opponents to just 16 points a contest in those two unders as well. I'm fading a play on the spread because although I made the case for Bucks bettors, New Orleans is covering 80% of their games as the Vegas favorite. They're also 3-0 as the official road favorite. So with that in mind, I'm going to fade a play on sides, but I'm loving a play on the total in this one. So all told, I'm going to disagree with the public bettors on this one and take the under 51 total combined points in this game. All right, I'm going to slide to my next game. Jacksonville, Tennessee. The Titans open 5, now 3. Total open 41. Moved upward to 42 flat. Currently, the Titans are $1.67 on the money line, and at the moment, 63% is leaning toward the Jags to get the job done. Jacksonville against the spread, 9-6 overall, 5-3 on the road. 3-1 in their last 4. They're going up against a Titans team who's been great against the number themselves as of late. 4-1 against the spread in their last 5. Tennessee's also an impressive 5-2 covering in games at Nissan Stadium. Should be a very tough decision in taking the right side in this one. Now when it comes to scoring, once again, this one opened 41, now 42. Lots of over bettors backing the offenses. Tennessee games went just 2-2 to the over in their last 4, but are 2-0 to the over in their last couple of games. Meanwhile, ton of scoring on the Jacksonville side of things. Jags games went 3-0 to the over in their last 3. Jacksonville totals are averaging 61 per game in their last 3 contests as well. That should explain all the over money. Actually surprised there wasn't more. As far as where I'm leaning though, I'm really fading a play on the total in this one. Jacksonville actually held their opponents under 10 points of scoring in 2 of their last 4 games. Meanwhile, Tennessee held their opponents to just 12 points a game in their last 2 unders. So once again, I'm fading a play on the total in this one, and I'm actually fading a play on sides in this one as well. The Jags are clearly the better team at the moment, but once again, the Titans are better against the number in their last 5 and successfully covered the spread in their first meeting with Jacksonville. So all told, sorry to tell you, I'm once again exercising my right to not bet, and I'm going to take a free pass on this game. All right, next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Cincinnati plus 9.5 at Baltimore. Total move downward to an even 40 flat. Currently, the Ravens are $4.50 to win this one outright. And at the moment, the Bengals find themselves taking a little money here. 64% of the betting public actually backing Cincinnati in this one. Kind of makes sense, though. Not all that outlandish for Cincy to take a little money here. They had a nice win last week at home against the Lions. Real good against the number as of late. 5-2 against the number in their last 7 contests. They got themselves a Baltimore team who's just 3-4 covering at home, 2-3 against the spread in their last 5 at the Harbor. Tough to take the Ravens, laying double digits in the spot here, despite being at home. Now, when it comes to the total, bunch of unders in these Cincy games. 4-0 to the under in their last 4. Cincy averaged just 7 points a game in their previous 2 contests before last week's action with the Lions. Meanwhile, on the other side, same song and dance with Baltimore games as they went 2-0 to the under in their last 2 themselves. The Ravens' stifling defense held their opponents to just 13 points per contest in those 2 unders as well. All that said, I'm fading a play on the total as Baltimore's averaging a massive 33 points of scoring per game. Hell, they could very well end up putting this one over themselves, and that's 33 points a game in their last 4. Now, meanwhile, on the other side, Cincy's Swiss cheese defense gave up 34 points a game in their last 2 contests themselves, throwing out the Detroit game. So all in all, I'm fading a play on the total and the spread in this one. I do have to make a horrible money line play here, though. I know it's pricey. I know it doesn't make sense. And I know I'm not using it in a money line parlay. But I'm very confident the Ravens will win this one outright. So I'm going to throw a few dollars at it. All told, I'm going to lay the $4.50 and take the Baltimore Ravens winning this one straight up for some very expensive, very pricey moneyline cash. All right, next game, Arizona at Seattle. Lots of movement in this one. Seattle opened 7, now 9.5. Total open 41, now 38.5. Currently, the Seahawks are $4.40 on the money line, and at the moment, 50% of the betting public has action on the Cards, 50% has money on the Seahawks. Right where the books won it, smack dab, right down the middle. Both teams fairly lackluster against the number for the year, though. Seattle against the spread, 6-9 overall, 2-5 at home. 1-2 in their last 3. They're going up against an Arizona team who's just 6-9 against the spread overall themselves. They're also 3-3 against the number versus teams over 500. This Cardinals team, though, has been pretty decent against the number as of late. They successfully covered the number in 2 of their last 3. They're also covering an impressive 75% of their games versus teams allowing less than 21 points per contest. We've got even money on both sides, but I'm not sure this is a great spot for Seattle backers to lay nearly double digits against a divisional rival. Now, scoring-wise, tough to tell where this one's going to end up. Obviously, the books think it'll be low, and the betting public certainly tends to agree. Makes sense if you've been following these Cards games. 3-0 to the under in their last 3. And they're holding their opponents to just 9 points per contest in those games. They average just 17 points of scoring per contest in those 3 as well. But before you go ahead and chalk it up to an easy win on the total, just keep in mind that we've had a very different sentiment on the Seattle side of the ball. 2 out of Seattle's last 3 contests actually went over the line. Seattle found themselves giving up 36 points per game on average in those 2 overs. And Seattle's struggling offense actually scored 21 points or more in 6 of their last 7 games. So with all that in mind, I'm not as confident as the public bettors that this game will stay under 38.5 points. And certainly if Seattle gets the nearly double-digit cover, it'll definitely be difficult to see that number stay under as well. So all in all, I'm going to forego a play on the total in this one. And obviously, I can't lay another 400-plus units to win a hundy on the money line. So I'll fade a play on a straight-up winner as well. But I do like Arizona to cover in this spot here, and I do like the opportunity to buy it up. So all told, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it up, and take the Arizona Cardinals plus 10, getting the job done against a number. All right, next game I have for you. It is going to be Kansas City, Denver. The Broncos opened 1.5, now 4. Total opened 39, now 38.5. Currently, the Broncos are $1.70 to win it outright. And at the moment, 71% of the betting public is now fading the Broncos. That's right, 71% of the bettors are backing Kansas City and their boy Patrick Mahomes, or whatever his name is. I'm actually very interested in this game as we have ourselves 2 major pitching changes. No real need to go through the numbers here. This is more of a guessing game since our trends don't really mean squat. I like the upside to Mahomes. I'm buying into whatever everyone else is saying about the kid. And the one thing I do know, this guy's got a cannon. He can throw it real hard and real far. Meanwhile, we've seen Paxton Lynch. We know exactly what he brings to the table. I'd be less than thrilled if I were a Broncos fan. Don't see them getting it done. No idea how many points will be scored. But all in all, give me the quarterback with the most potential. I'll ride with him. All told, I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs plus 4, getting the job done against a number. Next game, Oakland, LA Chargers. I'll tell you what, I'm really liking this game and the numbers. Chargers open 7.5, now 8.5. Total open 44. Bet down the 42 flat. Currently, the Chargers are the $3.70 favorites on the money line. And at the moment, 58% of the bettors are now backing the Raiders in this matchup. So if you like the Raiders to cover, right now is probably going to be your max value, absolute best market price you'll get on this game. So definitely no pussyfooting around. And if you're leaning Oakland in this one, there are certainly some worse handles you could be leaning toward out there in the markets. Now, although Oakland's been lackluster in areas, they're 2-0 against the number in their last couple of games, 3-2 ATS in their last 5. Oakland's also covering 50% of their games as the underdog in 2 of their last 3 matchups on the road. They're going up against a Charger squad who's failed to cover the spread in 3 of their last 4. LA against the spread is also just 3-4 at home, 3-5 laying the points, and 2-3 as the official home favorite. All that in mind, once again, if you're leaning toward Oakland, you're most likely getting your best market price right now. Now, scoring-wise, whole bunch of unders in these Charger games. 4-0 to the under in their last 4 to be exact. 7-1 to the under in their last 8 as well. Meanwhile, on the other side, same song and dance for Oakland games. 4-0 to the under in their previous 4. 6-2 to the under in their previous 8. I'm not expecting a whole lot of scoring in this one, but every once in a while the number talks to me, and the fact that it opened at 44 tells me that the markets are expecting a little more scoring than usual. That's actually an unusual number for a team who went 7-1 to the under in their last 8. So I'm going to fade a play on the total, although if you went ahead and agreed with the public bettors, I can't be mad at you. I am, however, leaning towards a play on the number, and I think you already have an idea as to who I'm leaning toward. So all told, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it up, and take the Oakland Raiders +9, getting the job done against the number. All right, guys, next and final game for 2017, San Fran at the LA Rams. But this should be a lot better game than what you thought it would be just 5 short weeks ago. Should be another great opportunity for Jimmy G to pick up another win. He'll be undefeated in his starts should he take it down this Sunday. Now, LA's looking to keep a lot of guys healthy this Sunday as well, so keep that in mind. No real need to go through the trends. We did, in fact, have a flip of the lines in this one. No real surprises there. If you bet San Fran in the early going, you certainly got away with highway robbery, although nobody feels bad for the bookie. Hell, the bookies are self-loathing themselves. But anyway, the Niners opened up the betting as the 6.5-point underdogs. They were +6.5. Since the markets opened this one up, though, like I said, we had ourselves a good old-fashioned flip of the lines. San Fran's now laying 3.5 against the spread. Total open then remains at 43.5. Come on, Brock. Let's pull it together for our last game. All right, 175 to the favorites on the money line, and at the moment 60% is backing the Rams. So look for them to lose half a point very shortly, and once again, no real need to go through the trends. They mean nothing in this spot here. Just keep in mind that this current winning streak of the Niners, they've averaged 32 points per contest in their last 3 games. They've been lighting up the scoreboard. So if you're betting the total or you really like the sides in this one, you're really quite the true degenerate. All told, as in life, there are no happy endings. I'd love to give you this huge, dramatic grand finale finish for 2017, but the fact of the matter is I'm taking a pass on this game. The Seinfeld Empire ended poorly, and so will my NFL picks for 2017. Anticlimactic. Horrible read. Just a terrible, terrible segment to end on. But anyway, folks, that is going to do it for me. But before I get out of here, I have to remind you, clearly, I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. For some reason, you decide to use the free information on this program. You're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe. Do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Productions, we'll see you in the playoffs. Have yourself a positive day.